Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, well, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next two house payments. That's right. You won't have to make your June or your July house payment. You're done until August 1st. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years, you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to SaveWithConrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at SaveWithConrad.com. Shoot me an email at Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105. Or get yourself a quick quote, even talk to a live person right now at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at SaveWithConrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to Grilling JR with the voice of professional wrestling, Mr. Jim Ross. Jim, how are you, man?
Well, we're alive, we're healthy, we're good. So it's going to be a great big week. I'm excited about returning to action, so to speak. So it's all good, man. I'm up and ready to roll this week.
It's one of the biggest weeks of wrestling in a long, long time. Of course, this past Monday, we had Monday Night Raw on Netflix. You and I are actually recording on Tuesday. We normally record on a Wednesday, but either way, Tuesday, we still had a big NXT show. On Wednesday, of course, it's a fantastic Dynamite from Garland. Thursday, some Impact and a Collision from Garland. On Friday, we've got SmackDown, we've got the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and we've got StarCast. JR is going to be there, and I am too. We hope you'll make plans to join us at StarRCast.com. StarCast is a big-time wrestling convention where you get to meet some of your favorite AEW superstars, some of your favorite Hall of Famers and legends from yesteryear. And how about this? We've got panel discussions you can't hear or see anywhere else, including a big Texas-sized panel with all the Texas legends. John Layfield is going to host a panel discussion with Stan Hansen and Kevin Von Erich and Dory Funk Jr., and you don't want to miss it. And how about this for a once-in-a-lifetime photo op? You can sit with an AEW announce desk next to good old JR. That's right.
Yeah.
Jim's going to be there doing pro photo ops at an AEW announce desk. Jim, how fun of an idea is that?
Oh, it's a great idea, Conrad. You did it again.
I'm just thinking, man, if I was a fan coming to StarCast and I could get a picture with JR, I think I'd want to sit by him at the announce desk.
Yeah.
That's going to be reality. Go grab your bracelets right now at StarCast.com. And Jim, we've got something that we just announced over the weekend. If you buy a bracelet, whether it's gold or platinum, you're automatically entered, and we're going to upgrade one lucky winner to ringside floor seats for the All In pay-per-view. And immediately following the pay-per-view, you're going to be escorted backstage. You'll get a backstage tour. You'll sit at the press conference like you're a member of the media, and immediately following the press conference, you get a personal meet and greet with Tony Khan. This has never happened before. It's not for sale. It's a real big damn deal. I mean, let's think about our early fandom as kids. If you got to go backstage at a WrestleMania and attend the press conference and then get a photo with Vince McMahon after, man, that feels like that's make-believe. And it's happening thanks to StarCast and AEW. Go grab your bracelets right now at StarRCast.com, and you're automatically entered. And don't forget, the big show, All In, is coming this Saturday. And tickets are on sale right now, Jim, at AEWTIX.com. It's AEW's first stadium show here in America. Jim, this might be the most loaded card in AEW history.
I think it is. It's got, it's like an all-star cast or big all-star baseball game or whatever. So if you have a favorite that's an AEW talent, you're going to see them at this event. So hopefully people will take advantage of that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Tickets are available, easy to access. So plenty of parking and all that good stuff. So all the basic things that you want are available to you. So should be fun as hell.
I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. As a reminder, the Sheraton Arlington is where StarCast is happening, and that actually shares a parking lot with the Esports Arena. So if you're hoping to come to StarCast and then check out the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, you can park one time and you're good to go. I also want to mention that Globe Life Field, it's only like 2 blocks away. So when you park at StarCast, you're on your way, man. I can't wait to see everybody. It's going to be a big-time opportunity for wrestling fans from around the world. And what a card we have for All In Texas, Jim. The men's casino gauntlet match has already been announced. We know at this point that Mark Briscoe has the number 1 spot, MJF has the number 2 spot, and Mystico, one of the biggest draws in the history of Lucha Libre, is going to be in the building and in this casino gauntlet match. The winner is guaranteed a world title shot. We'll also see the women do the exact same thing for their own version of the casino gauntlet match. But perhaps the show that could, or the match that could steal the show, Jim, the Young Bucks taking on Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. I got to get your take on this. I mean, unlikely bedfellows with Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay, but clearly two of AEW's very best against arguably the greatest AEW tag team in history, the Young Bucks. What do you expect here, Jim?
High flying, lots of chance at risk taking, high octane offense. I think the team that makes the biggest mistake last loses. It should be a great. I'd say the Bucks have the advantage because they're used to being partners.
Yeah.
But it should be really good. It's kind of unpredictable in my view, so ought to be fun. It should be a hell of a tag team match.
Speaking of tag teams, the titles are on the line in a 3-way with the Hurt Syndicate defending against Jet Speed and the Patriarchy. We're big Shelton Benjamin fans here. He is our topic today, so we're going to be talking more about Shelton momentarily. But what about Adam Cole and Kyle Fletcher? I saw someone online suggest that this might actually be the show stealer for the TBS title. Kyle Fletcher has been on a tear. Adam Cole has a chip on his shoulder. Can't wait to see what we get on this one. Toni Storm will step between the ropes to challenge Mercedes Moné. The AEW Women's Championship is going to be on the line. These are the 2 most decorated women in the company, and this has a big fight feel.
Yeah.
But when you talk about big fight feel, I think we're all thinking of this one, Kenny Omega and Okada. As a reminder, this is kind of the rubber match. Kenny has 1 win. Okada has 1 win, and they have a draw. Those were all on Japanese soil. This will be the first time we see this fight here in America. Winner takes all as Kenny defends his international championship and Okada defends his continental championship. The winner of this match, Jim, will become the AEW Unified Champion. What do you expect here, man? You have so much history with this match and these two. I know that you can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, it should be great. I hope that I get to call that match, but I don't have any say over that. But I would love to call that one because it's going to be so exciting and lots of offense. These guys neither are known to be defensive wrestlers. They don't hang back and wait. So I think this is going to be really, really good. You know, that graphic with the women, I think, is really cool because right now Toni Storm is my favorite AEW talent, and I'm still waiting for Mercedes Moné to have that great match that we all anticipated she would have plenty of. She's got great abilities. You've seen flashes of greatness from these two, and I think it'll be really, really good. So Toni Storm has been a show stealer in my view for the last several weeks. She's been on a great role, very entertaining to watch. And of course, Mercedes Moné's got just about every female title known to the good Lord. She has to hire. I would think she has to hire somebody to carry her shit to the ring. She's got like 5 belts or something. So anyways, should be good. I think the light's going to be shining bright in Texas, and I think that brings out the best in all talents. And we'll see that, I believe, with these 2 women. I think they got a chance to steal the show.
Speaking of stealing the show, what we've been led to believe is going to close the show is a Texas death match. Jon Moxley defending the AEW world title against Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match. You got to assume on pay-per-view, Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, 2 guys who are no stranger to violence, they're going to turn the volume up. This is going to be brutality on a Saturday afternoon. Jim, do you think we're getting a new champion come Saturday?
I think we might. I really do. I believe that the time might be here that, Moxley's had a long, successful run. He's been a great champion. I'm not predicting gloom and doom for him. I just think that timing might be everything in this one. So I believe that I believe this is going to be a match that none of us can afford to miss. That's another one I'd love to call because I believe it'll be bloody and brutal and violent. And so let's see what happens. And you never know in this kind of matches. Texas death match, I think that's any number of falls. It has different interpretations, the rules do in these matches. So in any event, it should be a hell of a match. Like you said earlier, this is a great card. I don't think we've ever had a card that even rivals this one in AEW lore. So should be good, man. There's no any weak spots on this card.
I hope people check it out because as a reminder, it's already been announced. Next year, All In is headed back to Wembley Stadium. Tony Khan has confirmed. We're going back to Wembley next year. Coldplay had booked this weekend out years in advance. I can't wait to do Globe Life Field in Dallas and then go back to Wembley next year. And we can go ahead and take a victory lap on the AEW side of things today, Jim, because Tony was quoted as saying that All In is already one of the biggest gates in AEW history. Quote, we've sold over $2.5 million in tickets. It's going to be over $3 million in tickets for the first time ever in the United States. We've never even done 2 million before in the US. So we're hitting a bunch of cool milestones with this as a business. I love that quote that Tony gave TMZ Sports. And I realized that there's a lot of tribalism in wrestling, and some of our listeners to our podcast here, they're hardcore WWE fans from yesteryear, and they're listening to the show today to hear those old nostalgic stories. But no matter where you are, whether you're an AEW fan or not, man, when you can pack this many people in a stadium and you can have a $3 million gate, boy, that's worth celebrating as an industry, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. And that we said earlier, without just overselling it, people can buy tickets right up to the time of the event. Come on out. So you can't be late, and good seats are going to be available right up into match time. So if you're hesitating or contemplating whether you want to attend, it's not too late, and you're right on time.
And by the way, tickets are very affordable. There's been a lot written about the price of wrestling tickets in recent years. That is not the case for AEW All In. They have some very affordably priced tickets. I'm taking a look at tickets right now for $31. So your get-in price over at AEWTIX.com can be as low as $31, $32, $33.
Yep.
This is going to be real wrestling history for basically what you would spend on a pizza. I recommend that you check it out. You will not regret it. Tickets, again, on sale now, AEWTIX.com. Jim's going to be there. I'm going to be there. You should be there too. And this Saturday night, Jim, immediately following All In, WWE has a Saturday night's main event card. You've got LA Knight working with Seth Rollins. We've got Drew McIntyre working with Randy Orton. But maybe most famously, what everyone's talking about is Gunther versus Goldberg. This has been kind of controversial because clearly WWE has counter-programmed AEW's All In, and originally they were going to be head-to-head, but AEW decided to move their show to an afternoon show, which, if we're honest, it means that All In airs at the exact same time it has the last 2 years. Because of the time differential between here and London, we're watching the show at the same time we normally would, but now tonight we're going to get to see Goldberg on NBC on Saturday night's main event for the big gold belt. Of course, if you're wondering, wait a minute, July, Atlanta, Goldberg, world title. Yeah, that's how it went down on July 6th back in 1998 when Goldberg beat Hulk Hogan at the Georgia Dome. Just across the street is where they'll be when Goldberg challenges for the world title this Saturday. If you were a betting man, you think Goldberg walks out as the new champ?
No. I think Gunther is your guy. But you never know. That's the great thing about pro wrestling. It stays unpredictable. It's the best when it can't be forecast, when there's not a guaranteed winner. We'll have a winner, but I don't know who it's going to be. And I think that's good for business.
Well, I'll tell you who is a guaranteed winner, and that's our friends over at Stopbox. I mean, here's the deal, guys. If you own a handgun for self-defense, your storage, well, It likely fits into one of two frustrating categories. It's either locked away, meaning it's safe but out of reach in case of an emergency, or it's unsecured, which means it's being left vulnerable to anyone. Well, Stopbox USA saw this problem and designed a groundbreaking solution, the Stopbox Pro. With the Stopbox Pro, you'll never have to choose between security and readiness again. Its ingenious push button locking system gives you fast, reliable access when every second matters, without the hassle of keys or reliance on batteries. It's 100% mechanical, so it works every time, no power needed. So now with Stopbox USA, you finally have both security and readiness. Stopbox Pro's mechanical keyless system allows for fast, secure access without the risk of fumbling for keys when every second counts. It's also battery free, so you never have to worry about your lock not working. And we should also mention that everything is made right here in the USA. As a matter of fact, everything is sourced right here in the USA. So this is not affected by tariffs. And because it's made in the USA, it ensures the highest quality before the products are shipped out. We also create jobs for American workers. I should mention that the Stopbox Pro is also TSA compliant. And right now, for a limited time only, you can get a crazy deal on Stopbox. Get 10% off your entire order when you use our code JR. Now, for even better savings, shop their bundles. And for the best deals on their best-selling products, you want to check out their bundles and save an exclusive 10% off site-wide when you use the code JR at stopboxusa.com. That's JR at stopboxusa.com. Discover a better way to balance security and readiness with Stopbox.
I always knew that you're a bundle guy.
Yeah, I love bundles.
Bundle.
Hey, speaking of bundles, I hope WWE makes a bundle with this new WWE Unreal project. Jim, I don't know that we've spent any time talking about this, but it was revealed earlier this year that on Netflix at the end of the month, WWE will debut a new series called WWE Unreal. They're going to take us behind the scenes into the creative meetings. And I guess they had some cameras in there and they followed around as some of the producers were communicating the creative to the different talent. So we'll see how the sausage is made, really, for the first time. And our buddy Jeff Jarrett says, Connie, it all comes down to the edit. But Jake the Snake Roberts had this to say about the project. He called it foolish, saying that no amount of money made from the show will warrant the damage it will do. But former WWE superstar Ryback, well, he saw it differently. He said, I truly believe WWE Unreal is one of the best things for wrestling and wrestlers. This is physical acting, the hardest thing in the world. We play roles and it takes all of us. No one really wins or loses. It's time fans and dirt sheets stop the hate and understand what this is. It's no different than movies. You're given a role, and depending on your contract, sometimes you know exactly what it is. Other times it's week to week. No one shames actors for playing a bad guy or a small part. It takes everyone. Wrestling is one giant production. I got to ask, Jim, where do you fall on this idea of showing the creative behind the scenes? And then what do you make of the way Ryback has processed this?
Well, I'm happy and surprised that Ryback has been so objective. I think he's right in a lot of his points. It's hard to say how it's gonna be until you see it.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of ways to go. So hopefully it'll be successful for him.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I don't know what to expect, but I know we're all going to be watching. And speaking of not knowing what to expect, I guess I kind of thought Rey Mysterio was going to wrestle forever, but he was recently asked about retirement. And he says, it's definitely really close, but at the same time, I'm so motivated. And to be honest, I know I'm still going to enjoy it when I retire, but I'm going to have to tap out. I still love what I do. I love hearing stories when I connect with fans, how they grew up watching me. That also keeps me on the road. Listen, I think we all know that Rey Mysterio is going to be able to make a living meeting wrestling fans for the rest of his life. He doesn't have to worry about that. He can be on the road and having relationships with fans every weekend.
Sign his name.
Yes. It is interesting to think, though. I mean, this is a guy who's been around on national TV, really, at this point for 30 years. It's hard to imagine because I think a lot of people, when they first saw Rey Mysterio's style and he first came on the scene, I think most people would have assumed, hey, man, this guy's not going to make it to 30, much less 30 years in the ring, right?
Yeah. I remember vividly recruiting Rey and getting him signed. We had a big meeting in Los Angeles, and he had several months left on his contract, that big money contract, and he was willing to forsake that if if we signed him. And my point to him was his body had been battered, and he's a small guy and all that stuff. So I made the decision to let him finish out his contract and get paid at WCW while we got ready for him. But it was a good hire. Obviously, he's lasted a long time. But my point was, let's take you off the road for a few weeks, few months, and get you ready to rock and roll. And he has never disappointed. He's always made his bookings. He's not a pain in the ass. He's just a real good soldier and a great teammate. So I'm a big Rey Mysterio guy, and I remember right after we signed him, I can't remember. I don't know where it is either, but I got a cool mask, and he's just very generous with his swag and all that stuff. So I'm a big Ray fan. He does things the right way. He treats the business the right way with respect, and I love him for that. For a manager like I was, it certainly is a relief, because he just, again, you're not going to get any big problems out of him. It's not going to be, hey, Ray called, he can't make it this weekend. You just didn't hear that. He was ready to roll and be on the team, and more often than not, steal the show.
We can't wait to see what's going to be happening in the future with Rey Mysterio. Certainly one of the all-time greats. And when we're thinking of all-time greats that are still doing it today, Shelton Benjamin comes to mind. He's our topic today. We're going to see him defending the AEW tag team titles over the weekend with his tag team partner, Bobby Lashley. One of my absolute favorite tag team acts to watch right now. Such a good time every time they come through the curtain on AEW TV. But let's talk about way back at the beginning, Jim. You signed Shelton at a time when you were also recruiting a lot of other high-level amateur wrestlers, not just Shelton Benjamin with his athletic pedigree, but also Brock Lesnar, Sylvester Terkay, Brian Keck, Ron Waterman, the Haas brothers. I mean, there's an influx of badass amateur wrestlers here. Why was this a focus for WWE at the time? Because this may have been the most amateur wrestling talent coming in the most frequency that we would see in this time period, or maybe even any other. Was Gerald Briscoe leading the charge? Is that an edict from Vince? Is this just good old JR saying, let's get back to our athletic roots? What was going on here?
Well, it wasn't an edict for Vince, from Vince. The theory there, me recruiting and signing these amateur guys, is the fact that they're durable. They've been involved in locker rooms. They've been involved with teammates and interacting positively with their teammates. So they bring a lot of cachet to the equation, and they still do. If it hadn't been for Brock Lesnar, I don't know that we would have signed Shelton Benjamin, because Shelton, we knew he was a great athlete, but as time went on, and it didn't take long, we found out that he was as good as anybody that we recruited in that class. And because he was with a group of guys that were just amazing athletes. Lesnar was one, just did a, and Shelton was the guy that was, he was, I don't want to say he was Brock's babysitter, but they had worked together, because Shelton was an assistant wrestling coach at Minnesota.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And he got to know Brock very well. And so I signed them both. Obviously, Brock was a caveat, but he would be the caveat in any class. And but Shelton did a great job of helping us with that. And Brock didn't learn to travel real well until the last several years. But we're sure glad that we made that call, that he could be the future. And I think at times he has been the future of WWE. And a lot of that credit should go to Shelton Benjamin for making a safe landing spot, shall we say, for Brock and WWE at the time.
Hey, I do want to ask you a little bit about Shelton Benjamin as far as his fandom of pro wrestling. Like, I don't believe that Brock Lesnar grew up a wrestling fan, but I think Shelton Benjamin did, right?
I think so. I think he was just a good old country boy from South Carolina, Orangeburg, I believe it was. If That's not, if I'm not mistaken. But he just everything came naturally to Shelton. There was not a drill that he did, and that includes Lesnar. Not a drill that he did that he wasn't the best at. And of course, we made Brock the foreman, if you will, of the ring crew. And so he did. That's what he's part of his chores. You want to teach these guys a little bit of value of their time and their efforts and what it takes to put a show on, be respectful, and all that good stuff. So Shelton was just he just had a great work ethic, old school work ethic, like a kid that grew up on a farm, shall we say. Always had responsibilities awaiting him the next morning. So I'm sure glad we got Shelton. And then look at now, he's still going strong. Some of his work lately has been as good as he's ever had.
There's no doubt. I'm absolutely loving the work that Shelton's been doing. But I do want to ask you, when we're talking about their background as a fan, did that make a difference in all your years of recruiting? Like we know that Brock Lesnar was obviously an anomaly. I mean, he's the exception, not the rule. But if he wasn't a big fan, and we've heard like maybe a Goldberg wasn't necessarily a big fan growing up, or even an Ultimate Warrior and those types. But a Shelton Benjamin who was a fan, does that make it easier to recruit them? Do they just assimilate better to the understanding of wrestling psychology, or does it matter at all if you were a fan growing up?
I think it matters. But I don't think it's a deal breaker because we've seen success come from guys that were casual fans or weren't really big fans at all. So he just it's hard work. It's like anything in life. The harder you work, generally, the better results you're going to attain. And that was where Sheldon comes in. He checks that box. But he just had such natural gifts athletically that the thing that held Sheldon back a little bit, in my view, in the beginning, was we didn't give him enough opportunities. I think, this is my opinion, to talk. And that's the one missing element that you gotta complete that checklist is, can the guy verbally communicate? And I've seen Shelton on some AEW shows here lately where his facial expressions fit what he's saying and what's going on. He just has a real good feel for the business, and he didn't always have that. He seems more relaxed now and more confident in his own ability. Because let's face it, he's one of the best talents in the world.
Well, there's no doubt about that. How much of a role in Shelton's backstory mattered? Here's what I mean. Like, if he didn't have this amateur wrestling background and he instead tried to pursue the independents, I have no doubt that he still would have made it. But do you think talent that were coming through the amateur ranks that were recruited, was it easier to get in WWE that way as opposed to get on WWE's radar that way as opposed to being on the independents way back when?
I think it might be. Conrad. Guys come in with a good background, a good pedigree, more specifically. So Shelton had that, but we didn't know what kind of work ethic he was going to have, or what kind of locker room guy he was going to be. That's what I say about getting guys from the amateur world. They're used to being in a team environment more often than not, and that helps their transition from being a civilian to being a pro wrestler. A lot goes with that, and so like I said, we're very blessed to get him. He would have been the equivalent of a late round draft pick that you thought was going to be very good, and it turned out he was.
Shelton, of course, is unique from other athletes who've been recruited. I don't know that everybody knows this, but Shelton was actually a two-sport athlete. He won NJ like junior college. He won those national titles in both wrestling and as a sprinter. So I think we all knew about the amateur wrestling background, but to know that, hey man, he can kick it into fifth gear. Yeah. That makes sense. If you've seen him wrestle, man, he has those quick bursts. But a sprinter, I don't remember there being a lot of sprinters in pro wrestling history. Shelton Benjamin's one of them, though.
Yeah, and the thing that's unique about that, Conrad, is he was the NCAA champion in those short hauls, and he was just so gifted. He had that burst, that twitch speed, as they say sometimes. Everybody's got a new term this week, shall we say. But anyway, he's a phenomenon. He's really, you just don't hear about too many heavyweight wrestlers
Yes.
that achieved his level of success to also have the same level of success as a short race guy, as a sprinter. So he'd blast off, man. He's simply amazing. I remember, and some of the fans listening today may remember it as well, where he had a match, and I might have been with Shawn Michaels, and that's really not fair because Shawn Michaels had great matches with everybody that he wrestled. But I was just so proud of how he assimilated his game. It's just we didn't give him the chance. It wasn't Shelton's fault. We didn't give him the chance to talk enough. And now his personality is being projected and developed in AEW. So we're seeing the very best of Shelton Benjamin right now.
There's no doubt about that. And I don't know that anybody would have ever bet that there would be an athlete like Shelton Benjamin in wrestling with that background of being a heavyweight wrestler and a sprinter. I mean, odds are against that, but the odds are in your favor this weekend with MyBookie because WWE is running it back with Saturday night's main event and Evolution, and MyBookie has odds on every match. Gunther's a heavy favorite over Goldberg. That's kind of what Jim was suggesting earlier. But stranger things have happened in that ring. I'm actually going the other side. I do think there's value in Goldberg. What about Rollins and LA Knight? Does seem like the crowd's behind Knight, but he's still a big underdog. Seth is being positioned as the top guy in WWE, or so it feels, but you never know what's going to happen. What about TNA's Jordan Grace? She's looking to shock JC Jane for the NXT title. And if you've been watching the show, well, you already know where the value's hiding on that one. At MyBookie, we're not just betting winners. You're betting entrances, turns, shock wins, and you're getting paid whenever you read the story right. Go sign up right now with the code JR50, and we'll back you on your first deposit. $100 gets you 50 extra. $200 gets you a Benjamin. What you do with it is up to you. 2 shows, 1 weekend. Bet smart, cash in, only at MyBookie. Jim, can you believe you can actually bet on wrestling now? How fun is that?
Yeah, it's almost like stealing if you know what you're doing.
Go use that promo code with MyBookie, JR50. It's going to be a lot of fun this Saturday. Hey, I want to talk about OVW. We know that Shelton and Brock Lesnar are going to OVW. You mentioned that earlier, but they're going to be put together as a tag team. I think their nickname here was the Minnesota Stretching Crew, which I love. Is that Jim Cornette?
I sort of say that was a Cornette deal all the way.
Yeah.
Stretching Crew, clever name. And I don't know if you have to look long and hard into different generations, and I cover a lot of them myself. Has there ever been a more athletic tag team come on the scene than Lesnar and Shelton? I can't think of any. They're just absolutely amazing. And the thing about Shelton is that he's bigger than when you just compare him every photo with Brock, he could look average size-wise. He's far from average.
Yes.
He's a piece of work. There's Cornette and his double knit. But they're wearing those yellow tights. That's the color of the Golden Gophers, Minnesota Golden Gophers. And Shelton was at Minnesota, was an assistant coach in wrestling. And that's where he developed his friendship with Les. Look at Lesnar's size.
Yeah.
God almighty, scary looking. So, but Shelton was a key element in the development of Brock Lesnar, without a doubt.
Hey, I'm not asking this to be funny, but I do feel like it needs to be asked.
You're a funny guy. You're a funny guy, though.
Every now and again. Hey, when you take a look at that photo of Brock and Shelton, there's no doubt that Brock jumps off the page. I mean, he looks like he's right out of the pages of a comic book. But I've often wondered, hey, if Brock Lesnar did not try his hand at professional wrestling, and it was just Shelton Benjamin here, is there a chance that Shelton could have gotten the same sort of push that Brock did as the next big thing and paired with Paul Heyman? Like, athletically gifted, no doubt. Like, could he do the same thing? It just feels like he checked all the boxes, but when he's positioned right there, shoulder to shoulder with Brock Lesnar, it's like, well, that guy, I mean, I'm just wondering, do you think in an alternate universe, if Shelton came in on his own, does his career look any differently?
Yeah, absolutely. He got the rub from Brock Lesnar,
Okay.
Superman. So he got that invaluable rub, and it was, absolutely. Heck yeah. It was anytime you can associate that closely as an ally of Brock Lesnar, the better off you are. And we've seen how Lesnar has taken that push and ran with it.
Such an incredible athlete. We're talking about Shelton Benjamin here today. And if you haven't already, we want you to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications bell at grillingjr.com. That's our YouTube channel. It's totally free, costs you absolutely nothing. But JR and I are live on there all the time. And you won't miss it if you click that notifications bell. So be sure to hit subscribe and turn on that notifications bell. I did like this tag team. I am wondering, why didn't we see that on WWE television? Was Vince just enamored with Brock and he sort of got fast tracked to the main roster? Is that what happened?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. He just wanted to protect Brock. Vince as being he, pronoun boy. And so that's where I think that's kind of the genesis of that deal. That's why I brought Lesnar to TV, WWE TV over the years earlier than most people thought, because and it was all about the money. I paid him more. He got a payday for coming to TV and wrestling better than or more than he would have made sitting at home in Louisville. But that was what he was all about, was the cash. So I'd book him for those 2 days of TV, Mondays and Tuesdays. He'd come in and get to work with somebody that was better than him and had more seasoning. So he did a great job.
I do want to ask you, when we see Brock get fast tracked to the main roster, Shelton is going to continue to work mostly as a tag team wrestler. He'll be paired with Red Dog, who we're going to know later as Rodney Mack. They're going to be the Dog Pound. What do you think of them as a tag team? Rodney Mack's a name we don't talk about very often on the show anymore.
They were good, but they weren't great. They were good, but they weren't great in my opinion. And I think that's basically because of opportunities. They just didn't get the chance to shine as much as I'm sure they would have liked. They weren't bad. I'm not trying to say that, but they hadn't found themselves, shall we say, and they were doing a lot of spots, and you get that sometimes where they think that to get over, you got to do more flip flops and flies than not. And those two guys, especially Shelton, didn't need that. They just need to go out and wrestle.
Did you always envision Shelton as a tag team wrestler? I mean, it does feel like Cornette, certainly, and Cornette obviously is the godfather of tag team wrestling. So he saw Shelton as a tag team wrestler, and we know he's experienced a lot of great success as a tag team wrestler. Did you see him as a tag team guy?
In the beginning, yes, because he needed to tag with somebody that could help him develop. But yeah, in the beginning, no doubt, he was a tag team guy. But I thought that at the hiccups. At the end of the day, he had his future ahead of him as a singles guy. That's where the money is, and he didn't let us down. I think, like I said earlier, even though he's in a tag team now, I think he's ready to be a single star at any time. It's just a matter of storyline and put him in the right place. But because he doesn't show his age. I don't even know how old Sheldon is. I'm sure he's 40. And he's a timeless element. He just doesn't seem to age.
He's 49. He'll be 50 this year.
Hard to believe, man. That's hard to believe. I promise you.
Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's mention how he comes into the opportunity to work with WWE full time. When he gets called up, he's actually going to have the opportunity to work a lot of main roster house shows and dark matches at TV tapings. And Shelton's not really the only guy who's doing this. This did feel like the era where OVW did this pretty routinely. And what's always been a head scratcher to me, Jim, is it feels like after this hugely successful class that you're going to have here, a few in a row maybe with OVW, that starts to slow down. Like if we celebrate this as being the greatest developmental class, wouldn't we try to replicate what we were doing? But once we stop this, it just becomes what it is now. Hey, you're in developmental, and then we call you up to the main roster and put you on TV at the same time. There was no easing in. Is that because of the internet or something else? Why didn't that continue, Jim?
I never correlated that to be an internet problem, but maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe I'm downplaying it. But it's just hard to say until a guy gets on the road and is on the road for a while, so you can see how they're going to react to their team and the rest of the roster. You don't really know. You think you know, and that's good, but you don't really know until you taste the soup, shall we say. And I think Shelton would be more considered like a stew, a lot of meat in that body.
This year at StarCast, The Ring gets a remix. Crunchyroll is teaming up with international wrestling legend and culture-shifting powerhouse Mercedes Moné. Bridging the worlds of anime, athletics, and anime-loving athletes, this collab celebrates reinvention, empowerment, and making your entrance look like it's the main event every time. From wrestling icon to CEO, Mercedes brings her story to life in a collection that hits harder than a finisher. You can grab it all at the Crunchyroll booth, located at the front of the Hall of Fame room on the second floor, or online at the Crunchyroll store. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the legend, this is one collab you'll want in your corner. Crunchyroll is teaming up with Mercedes Moné on an exclusive collection available at the Crunchyroll booth at StarCast and online. The Crunchyroll collection features tees, a kimono jacket, sweatshirts, hats, posters, and a pin, merging Mercedes Moné and anime and manga aesthetics. Mix and match your favorite pieces or grab the entire collection. It is interesting, that he's not going to be working on television, but he is getting on the road. So he's getting these reps of working in front of different crowds. He's getting used to living life on the road. I do feel like that's probably the best way to transition a guy.
Me too.
You invest in him on TV, but WWE just does it differently now. On house shows, we saw something interesting with the benefit of hindsight. Shelton would team a lot with Eric Angle. Now, we know that when we actually see Shelton debut, it won't be long before we see him with Kurt Angle. We haven't spent a bunch of time talking about Eric Angle here on the program. What are your memories of Eric Angle?
Very athletic, great outside. Just wasn't sure that he had the aptitude to make it to the next level. He was always compared to Kurt, and it's people that follow me know what I think about Kurt Angle, and my high praise for him since day one. I said oftentimes that Kurt was probably one of the fastest rising amateurs turned pro that I've ever seen. From what I understand, and from people that were there for the whole run, like a Jerry Briscoe, Kurt advanced in the hierarchy faster than anybody from that world, and maybe Jack Briscoe, Danny Hodge. Some of those guys were just so good naturally that they showed their hand early, that they were here to play and they were going to be great.
Let's talk a little bit about the debut. We know that Shelton gets called up with Charlie Haas, and they're going to be known as Team Angle. Paul Heyman, I think, gets the storyline credit for putting them together and gifting them to Kurt Angle to help in his feud with Brock Lesnar. Whose idea was it to put these two together? Because, man, they were magic together. I love the look and feel of this tag team.
I think if I was guessing and going by memory, that this Cornette's idea.
Yeah.
Cornette had a great eye for talent, still does. So I think that Corny he had already gained the confidence. The talents had already gained the confidence in Cornette that in time they could be very good. And those guys are good. They were a good team. I think maybe for Vince's sake, they might have been too vanilla. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I think maybe the fact that they were red, white, and blue and all-American boys and all that stuff, that might have affected their growth a little bit, because it kind of pigeonholed them into one area, a babyface tag team. And that's what they started out as, and had success until for a good while. That's a good looking group right there. Shelton and Kurt. I mean, Charlie. I love Charlie as a good guy. Notice on Charlie's wrist, he's got his brother's name on tape, Russ, who passed away on my watch, unfortunately. Good kid, great kid, and that's a good looking group right there. I don't know how you could not have confidence in those three.
I mean, that looks like it's out of a movie or a cartoon or American Gladiators. All I know is what I'm looking at right here with Team Angle is super marketable. I was a big fan of this group. I think they're criminally underrated. One of the best groups in the history of wrestling, in my opinion, that people just sort of gloss over. I do want to take just a minute. I know our topic is Shelton Benjamin, but I do want to talk about Charlie because I don't know when we'll talk about Charlie Haas again. He had been in a tag team with his brother, Russ. Was he at all hesitant to get back into tag team wrestling since his brother had passed away, or did he enjoy tag team wrestling and consider himself a specialist? And hey, this is my job. It's time to make the donuts.
I think that he wanted to make donuts. I think he
Yeah.
wanted to make money. Donuts being a metaphor for cash.
Sure.
So I think I don't think he had any hesitation whatsoever. It got him booked and got him some recognition being in a team. And I think that's all he was looking for was an opportunity. That's pardon me. That's what you find in natural athletes. They want a chance to play. And Charlie was just that way. He was very, he'd been an athlete all his life from Little League baseball and wrestling. So all he wanted was a chance. And that's what athletes do. They just want to get me on the field, get me a uniform, and let's see where I can take it.
Let's talk about chemistry. It does feel like for Shelton and Charlie to have not had a bunch of time working together in developmentals or house shows. I mean, they're just thrown together on TV, but it does feel like when we see their early matches against the Guerreros or Benoit and Rhino, or when Chavo gets hurt, we see Eddie Guerrero and Tajiri. Like no matter who they're against, it does feel like Shelton and Charlie have great chemistry together. Why do you think they click so well? Well, how do you manufacture chemistry? Is it just you have it or you don't?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you can manufacture it. You can nurse it. You can help develop it, but you either have it or you don't. Those guys liked each other. They liked traveling together. They had that amateur background, which bled over to the gym. They were always in the gym, always working hard on their bodies. And that was very evident as time went on. That the thing that hurt them is that they weren't given the opportunity, in my view, to show their personalities as much as they should have. And I just think that there were some missed opportunities there without question.
Well, after Kurt Angle fires them from Team Angle, they're going to become world's greatest tag team, talking about Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. So they keep doing what they've been doing. But then they get split up in the 2004 draft. Shelton is going to get drafted to Raw. And I do want to ask you, I think most of us agree that was a great tag team. And they only had maybe a year and change before they're split up here. Was this just Vince not really digging or seeing value in tag teams? Or did it have more to do with the upside for Shelton as a singles, in your opinion?
I think it was a tag team thing. Vince had almost set parameters or limits on how far or how good a team can go. I had the same philosophy. If I signed a team, there was one person on that team that I signed that I have my eye on. All men are not created equal. And so these guys just were phenomenal as a group. But then you wonder how far are they going to go as a single when they don't have anybody in the corner waiting to tag and so forth. So that has a play in it. No, there's no doubt. And McMahon's not a big. You notice Hunter is not a big tag team guy. They have some great teams there, but the money is in the singles.
Well, there's no doubt about that. In Shelton's first match on Raw, he's going to main event against Triple H. It's a very memorable match, and Shelton gets a clean upset victory. How does this come about? Did Triple H see something special in him? Is this a Vince edict? I mean, to go from being a tag team guy on SmackDown to main eventing and beating Triple H on Raw, that's a big deal in week one.
Absolutely, it's a big deal. I think that shows you how unselfish Triple H was. It was a key win for Shelton. There's old Mike Chioda with hair in that picture. So yeah, it's funny to look at I like to look at the audience and see who's sitting out there. But Shelton did a good job with that, and Triple H, bless his heart, carried Shelton to a hell of a match, and it's not hard to do when you got an athlete like that to dance with. So there's Flair. How's Flair doing, by the way?
You know, man, he's good. There's been a lot of reports out there, but he's good. You know, my wife is in pretty regular communication with him, and he's in a good place.
So you got skin cancer?
Well, I think there's been some spots that the doctor was concerned about. So, you know, they cut those off and they biopsy them, and then they let you know after the fact. But so far, he's gotten good reports, as best I know.
Good.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
So
I've been there. I know how that works.
Sure.
I know how that works.
Well, let me tell you how something else works. As summer's winding down and the chaos of back to school season starts to ramp up, we got to ask you, how you eating? Skip the expensive takeout and unhealthy options. Home Chef delivers fresh ingredients and delicious meals made directly for you. How about this? Save money and simplify your routine with flavorful meals that everyone will love. Home Chef will deliver you those fresh ingredients and those chef-designed recipes conveniently to your doorstep. It's really going to simplify your cooking experience. And if you're like Jim and myself and you like to cook, I want to tell you that this is the #1 meal kit we've ever endorsed here on Grilling JR.
Yeah, it's idiot proof, Conrad. Excuse me. It's idiot proof. You can't screw this up, folks. If you can open a box and follow simple directions, you can't screw this up. And the food is excellent.
No doubt about it. Users of the leading meal kits have rated Home Chef #1 in quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe. Whether you prefer those classic meal kits with pre-portioned ingredients, maybe you're looking for quick 30-minute recipes. What about some oven ready options or microwave meals? They've even got a dedicated family menu. No matter what you're looking for, Home Chef has everything for you and your family and all of your needs, because we want to make sure you get hassle-free, delicious dinners. And Home Chef has you hooked up with over 30 options a week, and they can even serve a variety of dietary needs. Did I mention it's more economical too? You see, Home Chef customers save an average of $86 a month on groceries, and here's why. Listen, as a guy, we've all gotten this sort of message before. Hey, honey, will you stop and pick up some so-and-so? And then you get home and realize, hey, we already had it. Or while you're at the store, did I run out of so-and-so? I don't know. Let's get another one just in case. We wind up overspending because we don't know exactly what we need for our meals. You eliminate all that guesswork, just like Jim was saying with Home Chef. You're going to get the exact groceries you need. So this summer, when meal planning ends up on the back burner, check out Home Chef's new 5-ingredient meals that simplify prep with super easy recipe steps, because there's just 5 fresh pre-portioned ingredients. And for a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 50% off and free shipping on your first box, plus free dessert for life.
Yeah, baby.
Come on now. Go to homechef.com/JR. That's homechef.com/JR for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. That's homechef.com/JR. Of course, you must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. How cool is that, man? Free dessert for life. That was like made for me and you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. They got my attention right away when they said that. The fact that it's 50% off, is a hell of a deal. I mean, any way you want to look at it, that's a hell of a deal. It's worth the try, and you're going to get good food, and you're going to enjoy what you're getting. It's got great value, and for guys like you and I, Conrad, it's got great taste. The portions are excellent. So you guys should give that a shot. It's a great company, and they do real well by us.
Check them out, homechef.com/JR. Hey, let's talk about later in 2004. WWE is going to hold a kind of innovative pay-per-view. This is the infancy of the internet, really, but it's 2004. God, I can't believe that was 21 years ago. Taboo Tuesday. It's a Tuesday pay-per-view where fans get to vote for the matches they want to see. Well, the Intercontinental Champion, Chris Jericho, is going to be defending his title, and fans choose Shelton Benjamin to get the shot. Shelton not only wins the poll, but he wins the title. So, man, we've split him up. We've switched him to another show. We're going to let him main event Raw and beat one of our top stars in Triple H. We're going to put him in a fan poll. He's going to win and then win the Intercontinental title. We're off to a heck of a start here for Shelton on his singles foray, are we not?
Oh, yeah. That's where you kick a guy off. You give him meaning and value. And Shelton got that in that push, that very, very orchestrated, very well planned push for Shelton. And again, you go back to that period in time. The only thing missing was him talking much, because in the ring, he didn't need to do anything better. He was just perfect in the ring. He just needed to develop his personality a little bit more, so the fans would have more to invest in. And he did a good job with that. I'm a big Shelton Benjamin fan. If you were in my position as a head of talent, he's the kind of guys you want to invest in. At least that's my opinion. I think he's just a gift to the business itself, because you never hear about him causing problems in the locker room. You never hear about him no-showing. You never hear any attitudinal problems with Shelton. He's just a great complement of all the skills and the tools that he needs to be a star. And like I said, now that he's with, I think MVP and Bobby Lashley, that group, they're bringing out the best in Shelton.
I can't wait to talk about what's next, because this is where I think a lot of wrestling fans, myself included, went, huh? So Shelton has great success as a tag team act, as a part of Team Angle and then the world's greatest tag team. He switches gears, gets drafted to another show, starts a singles run, beating Triple H in the main event, gets a fan poll shot against Chris Jericho for the IC title, wins that, and he has a really fun run. And then he goes on a losing streak, one that he can only be pulled out of by his mama. So this leads to the debut of Shelton Benjamin's mama, played by Thea Vidal, who was a pretty well-known actress / comedian. She had her own sitcom on ABC like a decade earlier. And there's even a report in The Observer around this same time that said that Vince demanded that she wear a fat suit, because Vince didn't think she was quote unquote large enough to fit into his vision of a stereotypical overbearing African-American mom. This is weird. This is a Vince storyline that
100%.
What are we doing?
Well, obviously you didn't like it.
Did you like it?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. We didn't need that, I don't think. I don't know how much it helped Shelton. Maybe it helped him a little bit because we're talking about him here all these years after.
Sure.
But nonetheless, I wasn't crazy about that storyline.
You know, the thing is, it's like he had been presented like this badass, which he is. But now this feels like it's leaning into a more comedic presentation. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a big fan of comedy and wrestling. I know there are some people who say funny don't draw money, but I like when Dusty said, you know, hey, you're supposed to be like the circus. You're supposed to have something for everybody. And even Flair later in his career, he started to do more comedic stuff. So I get that there is a place for it, but I just can't help but ask myself, would they have done this Your Mama storyline with Brock Lesnar? Because I don't think so.
Of course not.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't even be considered.
Yeah.
But I applaud WWE for trying to find something to add to Shelton's repertoire, his presentation. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Well, I don't think a lot of people really dug it, but I will say that the lady Thea, who portrayed Shelton's mama, she did a fantastic job. She was great in her role. I just wish there was different creative for Shelton Benjamin. But either way, after that, he's going to start, I guess, sort of running in place, or so it feels that way. He reunites with Charlie Haas for a bit. He moves to the ECW brand. He's going to dye his hair blonde and take on the nickname the Gold Standard. I did like the look with the blonde hair because it does stand out. You know, we've seen
Butch Reed
have
blonde hair. Sweet Daddy Siki made blonde hair for a black man, kind of fashionable back in the day.
Dennis Rodman famously did it in the NBA.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man. So I love the look. It stands out. It's really cool. But I'll be honest. I believe that the blonde hair on Butch Reed allegedly was a Vince thing. Have you heard that before? That Vince
I,
is the person who preferred Butch with the blonde hair?
I think I don't know that to be a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Vince had a unique way of looking at things, and whether you liked it or you don't like it, he had a very unique way of looking at things. So I'm I and sometimes it's head scratchers, but the blonde hair gave Shelton another identity, another valuable asset to his look because he had a great body. So you top it off with that hair, and it makes him a kind of a different cat.
It's a fun look. Shelton is going to remain with WWE through 2010. That's when he'll be released, and he's going to wind up signing a deal with Ring of Honor, and he's going to reunite with Charlie Haas here as the world's greatest tag team. Jim Cornette, who's involved in Ring of Honor at the time, sees them as the perfect opponents to try to help mentor and elevate Mark and Jay Briscoe into becoming a polished, television-ready, superstar-level tag team. Man, that's probably a great role for Shelton Benjamin to be in at that point because he's seen it and done it all at that point. Paying it forward to the Briscoes makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you gave the Briscoes an identity, and I'd say Shelton was ahead of the curve at that point in time, and it was time for him to get into a scenario where he was not just learning, he wasn't in there. He was steering. He's got to steer his ship a little bit more, and the Dudleys, because those guys remind me of the Dudleys at times. I think it's a good idea. I think it worked out fine. If I was involved in that decision making, I would have certainly nodded my head that let's try this and see how it goes.
Shelton is going to spend some time in Ring of Honor and then several years with New Japan. He'll be a part of Minoru Suzuki Gun faction. I know you did some commentary for New Japan through the years. Did you get to call any of Shelton's New Japan?
I think I did. Nothing he did surprised me in the ring.
Yeah.
Like I said, we identified early on that the only thing he needed to do was to get his personality developed. And to do that, you have to have the opportunity to do such. So he was just it was a good timing. His career evolved really well. I think maybe a lot of his fans think that he wasn't used correctly for a long period of time, and that may be true. But he never gave up the ghost, shall we say. He worked hard and he kept learning, and he didn't get discouraged to the point that it affected his work. And I think that's a key element and a key thing to talk about. His great character. He's an athlete. He wanted to be the best athlete that he could be. And like I said earlier, that's what you find with these guys that are come from an athletic program like Minnesota, for example, where it's a Class A Division I college. He had great success there. We talked about his amateur days in junior college, where he was an All-American in track and wrestling. So it was just a matter of finding the right fit for him, and that's what we had. That's what we were challenged to do at times.
I can't wait for us to get a chance to see what Shelton Benjamin's going to do this weekend at All In. I mean, this is going to be a big time show for everyone involved, but it really is a big moment for Shelton when you think about how long he's been doing it. Because once upon a time, he was making a name for himself over in Japan. He spent time in Pro Wrestling Noah and then New Japan. But then when he comes back to WWE, it feels like he's the mid-card veteran presence for much of the run. But then all of a sudden something clicks creatively and they have an idea, and it allows Shelton to show the world what they've been missing. He's been undervalued for a long time. The Hurt Business proved that. Of course, we know that did evolve into what we're seeing now in AEW as the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley is the centerpiece. MVP is the manager. And there's a duo, at least on the WWE side of things, is Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander as a tag team. Did you get to see much of their WWE stuff, the Hurt Business? What did you think of that?
A little bit, not as much as I, in hindsight, would have liked to have seen. But it's just another opportunity. It's all about how well did you run with the ball? How well did you matriculate down the field, as Hank Stram would say? And those that know, uh, coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, matriculate the ball on down the field, boys. And that's Shelton did that. That was the great thing about him. He had starts and stops, but he never gave up. He always kept trying to get better and improve his lot in wrestling life. And I love guys like that.
I do want to ask, with the benefit of hindsight, we saw most of the Hurt Business during the COVID era. Do you think that group would be remembered differently if we saw more of their work with fans?
With fans?
Yeah, I just feel like there was so many, if you remember back in 2020 when they were really popping off, they were doing the Thunderdome. So it was just a bunch of LED screens. There were no fans. Like, I would have liked to have seen the Hurt Business do their thing in front of sold out arenas as opposed to LCD boards all over the place.
Everything's better with fans.
Yes.
LCD boards my ass. It's a good way to cover up stuff. But fans are what makes it work. The fans that are watching today, the fans that are going to be watching on Saturday in Dallas, that's the difference maker. How do you interact and connect? Key term. How do you connect with your live audience?
It's amazing to see what they've been able to do. Shelton Benjamin, now you see him on AEW programming as a unit, now with MJF, I guess, in the old Cedric Alexander spot. Shelton's still performing at a very high level. He's going to be at AEW's very first stadium show this weekend. I think he's actually celebrating a birthday. I think he may turn 50 this week. Wow. He's been doing this for 25 years, and that comes after a very high-level folk-style wrestling career. I mean, what do you chalk up Shelton's durability to? Because it's rare that you see a guy who can do what he's been able to do for as long as he's been able to do it. And thankfully, knock on wood, avoid some sort of catastrophic injuries along the way.
Yeah, he's been lucky in that regard. Durability.
Yes.
Again, JR is in love with these amateurs, all that. Well, I'm in love with their work ethic. I'm in love with how durable they are. You invest in a talent like Shelton, and you know that they'll be at work the next day. They may be sore and beat up a little bit, but they overcome. And Shelton overcame a lot of bumps and bruises, created snafus and things like that. And here he is on the cusp of his 50th birthday, still doing it.
It's pretty amazing. How much longer, if you had to guess, do you think Shelton can do this? I know that seems like I'm asking you to look into a crystal ball, but realistically, from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like he's missed a beat. I don't think that he's slowed down at all. Like, his in-ring work looks so similar to what it did 25 years ago. It's remarkable.
Yeah, well, that just speaks for him. He is remarkable. And I don't think he's ever gotten the credit that he deserves. And now we're finally seeing what Shelton Benjamin is all about. And I think that's just great because he's a good guy that deserves his flowers, as the kids say.
I want to encourage you to go check out some Shelton Benjamin matches this week before we get ready for All In this weekend. Go check out the Money in the Bank ladder match from WrestleMania 2005. That was Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Christian, Edge, Kane, and Shelton Benjamin. What a match that was.
Yeah.
Perhaps his most famous match of all, though, was against Shawn Michaels on Monday Night Raw. The super kick that will be replayed forever and ever. Amen. May 2nd, 2005. When you saw that super kick live, I mean, that's something else. This is no Hollywood. It's not like we're going to get 47 takes to get this right. This is in front of a live audience on live TV. And I don't think that the timing could have been any more perfect with Shawn and Shelton. They had magic that night, did they not?
Oh, they did. Yeah, it was amazing. That took me out of my seat. I didn't know what, like I've said this many times. I do my best work when I don't know too much. Don't let me think about it too much. Let me react to what I'm saying and what their talents are doing. And I didn't know that spot was upcoming. But man, I'm sure glad I got to call that because it was amazing. Timing wise, just tremendous. And execution was perfect. The timing of where it was in the match was right on, spot on. So yeah, that was of all the matches. I remember the match with Sean Conrad over the match with Triple H. I'd almost forgotten about the match with Triple H. It was great that he put Shelton over, gave him a key win, no doubt. But it seemed like we didn't talk about it long enough afterwards. But the match with Sean was the showstopper. It was just amazing.
I want to recommend you check out some of his Ring of Honor work again as well. Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin were a tag team there against Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli, the former Cesaro. They had a fantastic match at Glory by Honor 9 that went down on September 11th, 2010. It was an outstanding tag team match. And if you're more of a WWE guy, let me recommend Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio tag teaming against Charlie and Shelton. That went down at Vengeance 2003, July 27th, 2003. And if you remember their SmackDown battles, there was an era where SmackDown had some incredible tag team wrestling, perhaps none better than the Guerreros and the World's Greatest Tag Team. It happened on December 9th, 2003 on SmackDown.
And I think that's when, excuse me, Conrad, before I forget, that was an era where Cornette was doing the booking.
I thought that was Heyman that was running.
I meant Heyman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cornette will get pissed at that. God damn it. But yeah, Heyman and Cornette were, I know they don't want to hear this, and I've said it in front of them. The only difference in those two guys was what they wore. Cornette was a proficionado of double knit, and Heyman was a proficionado of cheap suit. But they brought it. They were creative as hell, and they saw things and talents that other guys that should have been thinking about it just didn't see. So that was a great vision by Heyman as usual, and before that, in that era, of that group of talent was Cornette. So great decision makers, great bookers. I don't think the fans realize how lucky that they were and we were to have two guys like Heyman and Cornette in those roles at different times.
Let me just mention, shopping for a car should be exciting, not exhausting, but between misleading prices and hidden fees, it can feel like a maze. And that's where Car Gurus comes in. They rank the best deals, verify dealers, and make sure you never pay more than you should. Your big deal? Well, it just became a great deal. You see, Car Gurus will connect you with trusted dealerships when you're ready, ensuring a transparent and hassle-free buying process. With over 4 million listings, Car Gurus has more car listings than any other major online automotive marketplace in the United States, so you can find the best deal. Car Gurus is going to give you control to shop how you want to shop with the tools and information and data-driven deal ratings that you really need. It's no wonder that SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows that Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. So it's time to buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.com. That's cargurus.com, cargurus.com. Jim, we are just days away from getting together in Dallas. I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a big time opportunity. But when we think about wrestling in the summertime and in Texas, more often than not, my mind wanders to barbecue. And I know that I can go to jrsbbq.com and get my hookup, whether I'm looking for barbecue sauce or hot sauce or all-purpose seasoning or ketchup or mustard, or what if I need a book? What if I need a trading card? What if I need an action figure? There's something for everybody, and it costs nothing to look over at jrsbbq.com. Isn't that right, Jim?
Not a damn thing. It's free. Looking's free, and check it out. We're shipping orders out right and left, and I think we're doing. I haven't got any complaints about the delays in shipping or things of that nature. So, we got a good crew there in Norman, Oklahoma. So all good, man. We're blessed to have the business that we have, and we are grateful, quite frankly, to everybody.
Well, we're grateful that you guys have showed up and hung out with us today. We are looking forward to catching up next week. We're going to be recapping, of course, what happened on Saturday night's main event with Goldberg, but more importantly, We're going to be talking about the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. We're going to be talking about All In. We're going to be talking about JR's triumphant return to wrestling. Jim, this will be your first time calling wrestling in quite a while. Are you nervous, anxious, excited? What emotions are you feeling right now?
I'm very anxious. I'm very anxious. I don't know if I'm nervous, but I'm very anxious to get it going. You know, Tony Khan usually takes real good care of me as far as the matches. If I had to guess, I would guess that I would be calling the 2 main events. And I hope that something like that happens. But I'm a little anxious, quite frankly. I've had dreams about it. And I woke up this morning about 2 o'clock and couldn't go back to sleep. And just thinking about the trip and the flying. And, you know, I'm a different man than I was the last time I was on the road. Conrad, I weighed the other day 188.
Oh, my. Well, look at you, dude.
What do you think of that?
Wow.
188.
What, did you weigh that last in high school?
Yeah, junior year.
Wow. Congratulations, dude. Look at you.
I was an honorable mention All-State center in high school for the Westville Yellow Jackets. And my senior year, I was about 210. But over the years in wrestling and the travel and not eating right, things of that nature, I put on more weight than I should have. So I don't know if I've ever weighed, in my adult life, I've never weighed at this level. So, you know, I'm healthier, I'm cancer free, which I'm very blessed and thankful for, to be honest with you. It could have gone the other way for me. It could have been where, well, JR's lost all his hair through chemotherapy and all that. And I did not have to go that route. So I got a break on that deal. So it's all working out good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy I'm here, and I'm happy I'm going to be in Texas this weekend. I don't know if people will remember me, Conrad. They might. I hope they do. You always wonder about that when you're having a long absence. Are they going to remember who the hell you are?
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that. You're going to get a big heroes welcome this weekend at All In. Can't wait to see you at StarCast. Make plans to join us. STAR.
What time is that? What time is that function on Friday morning or Friday?
Oh, StarCast gets kicked off first thing in the morning. I think doors are open at 9 a.m., but we won't have to have you there just yet. But I do want to hit some questions with you right fast. We got a live studio audience, and man, we got a really interesting one here from Coach Rosie, because you have been involved in the management of professional wrestling for a long time. And Coach says, what would be your dream team of a backstage leadership team who would be in charge of talent? But who would be a gorilla and who would be your agents? So if you had one person who was going to run gorilla for your promotion and you were going to have a handful of agents, and this is an all-time list, who would you pick?
Well, I think my gorilla guy would be Jerry Briscoe.
Okay.
Because he's got the best feel, in my opinion, of what's going on, reading the talent, and all that stuff. So he would be one. We had great success in WWE, and largely because of Stone Cold, but with Jack Lanza as the lead agent. Talents respected him. He was a veteran star who took his job seriously, and it was real good. But you know, Dean Malenko is a great agent. I'm looking. That's one of the great things about returning to work, is seeing a lot of my buddies, and Dean being one of those guys. But any staff I would put together would have Dean Malenko on it or involved in it, because he's just that good at laying out a match and booking a match to a talent's strength and avoiding their weaknesses. That's always been the key to booking. Hide the weaknesses and embellish the strengths. It sounds simple, but it is simple. But guys sometimes overthink it.
Well, we're hoping we're not going to overthink it this weekend. I'm looking forward to a big weekend, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a quote that's come out this morning from MJF that I wanted to get your take on. You were once in charge of talent relations for WWE, so you've seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And when MJF was talking about AEW's roster standard and how Tony Khan has been picking his new signings for AEW recently, he said something like this: Tony Khan has learned that you want people in your locker room that not only want to be there, but are worthy of being there. We've had a lot of guys in the past come in and think they're going to be king shit just because they had their time in the sun for a millisecond in other promotions. That's not how it fucking works. It's called All Elite Wrestling, not all average wrestling, not all mediocre wrestling, not all I'm going to show up, cash a check, and expect to be world champion wrestling. It's all elite wrestling. And right now, everyone in that locker room is on the same page. We aren't all coming in there to cash a check. We aren't coming in to give 50%. We're all giving 110%. And if you're thinking you're going to come into my company and barely put in work, you're out of your goddamn mind. You don't belong here. We don't want you here. So stay where you are and be miserable over there because you don't belong swimming in the ocean of sharks that is AEW. What do you think about MJF's?
A lot of truth. There's a lot of truth there. He's very blunt and cuts to the chase. Very outspoken, but he's a very intelligent young man. So I applaud what he says. It has the balls to say it, because in some circles that'll get your ass in trouble. But he's a good representative of that, and I expect him to be a vocal leader in AEW for years to come.
I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a fun time this weekend. We hope you'll make plans to join us. We'll see you this weekend when the entire wrestling world descends on Dallas, and we'll be back next week to talk about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right here on Grilling JR with the voice of professional wrestling, Mr. Jim Ross.
Conrad, where are we going to eat?
That's a great question. You know any good steakhouses in Dallas? We can find one.
Del Frisco's.
Okay, I'll see you there. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.